Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Monica Boo and I'll upload sewing tutorial and lifestyle content on this channel. In today's video, I'm going to teach you all how to make this asymmetric top with some ruffles at the down part. The length of the original style I recreated in the middle is longer than mine. I decided to make mine short. So if you want yours to be long as it is in the video, all you need to do is just to add extra inches than mine. So let's dive into this tutorial together. So we'll be starting off with the pattern drafting. So the first thing I'm going to do is to fold my pattern paper into two. So the first thing I'm going to do is to rule out a borderline like so. So in that particular style, it has a strap. So that means I'll be taking off 6 inches. So that means my starting line is going to start from 6 inches. So I'm just going to mark my nipple point measurement. I'll mark out my waist, my half waist measurement, then the length of my top. Then I'm just going to rule out a vertical line like so. This is my chest line, this is my bust point, this is my waistline, and this is my top length. So on my chest line here, I'm just going to input my bust measurement. So make sure you divide your measurement divided by 4. So mine is 40 inches. So this is I'm going to just mark it here and I will add extra 1 inch allowance. I'll do the same thing for this bust line too. So for the top length, whatever I have on my waist, for instance now I have 9.5 on my waist, I'll just add extra half inches. That will give me 10. So I'm just going to mark 10 inches here, then I'll add extra 1 inch allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do is to connect all these lines together. You can put your dart if you want to, but for this top, I don't want to put that on my own. So if you want to put your dart, you will just mark out your nipple to nipple measurement down to your hip line, and you just mark out your normal facial dart. So I'm just going to connect these points together. So this is for the front, so I'm just going to cut it out. So for my back pattern, so I'm just going to fold the paper into this way. So for my zip allowance, I'm just going to mark out my 1.5 inches allowance for this zip. Just connect it. I'll connect the points together like this. I'm just going to place my front pattern on it this way. I'll make sure it is well aligned and I'll just pin it and cut it out. So the next thing to do is just to come on your waist measurement here. You're just going to mark out half inch this way. Then I'm going to slant it to this point. This is just to reduce the zip bulge. When I'm cutting it out, I am not going to cut this zipper allowance. I'm not going to slash it into 2 now. For now, we'll do that later, but for now, I'll just trace it out and cut it out without touching this zipper allowance area. So after cutting it out, you should have something like this. So I'm just going to start with the front pattern. This is my front pattern, as you can see. So I'm just going to open it this way, like this. This is the left side of my top and this is the right side of my top. The left is going to be longer than the right. You can actually use any direction of your choice, but I want to use the left for mine. I want the length to be 31 inches. So I'm just going to mark 31 inches here this way. Then for this point here, I'm just going to mark out 21 inches here. Please note that I'm using my own measurement. Just use what works for you. So from this point here, I'm just going to connect it to this line here. So So this is what you should have. So I'm just going to mark out extra half-inch allowance for the joining of the ruffle area. So I'm just going to connect the point like so. So I'm just going to cut it out. So this is what the pattern looks like for the front pattern. So let's proceed to the back pattern. For the back pattern, I'm just repeating the same process we did on the front. I'm just going to mark out the length. I want to use 31 inches for the length. I'll just mark it out here. Then on this side, I'll be making use of 21 inches. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Guys, I'm so sorry, I ran out of space. So while I was recording how to cut out the back pattern, it actually stopped. So I'm just going to continue from where I started. I'm just going to explain. After I marked out the length of the paper, like the length I want it to be, I went ahead to like slant it, just like the way I did it for the front pattern. So I also added extra half-inch allowance because I'm going to add ruffles at the end. Remember when we were drafting the back pattern, I told us not to slash out the zipper allowance yet. So it was already on fold. So what I went to do was to like open it. So it was like this. So I just went ahead to just cut out the zipper allowance like this. This was where we took out the zip bulge. So I just cut it out. So this is the back pattern. And this is the front pattern. So on this style, they did a mono strap kind of neckline, but I won't be doing that for mine. So if you want to do that from this point, you can just slant it to this point, depending on whatever you want. But for me, I'll just make use of this normal neckline. So this is the fabric I'm working with. So I'm just going to cut out my pattern on the fabric. So after cutting out the pattern for my fabric, this is what the front looks like. You can see. And for the back piece, you should have 2. So this is what it looks like. You should have 3 pieces in total. So next thing we want to do is to sew the facing. So for the facing, I already went ahead to cut it out. This is what it looks like. You are just going to cut it straight. You can use at least 4 inches allowance. So what I'm going to do is to just fold it this way and take my hemming gum and sew it on it. Then I'll do the same thing for the back facing. So the back should be 2. So I'll just put the hemming gum and stitch. So this is what it looks like after I've already stitched the hemming gum on the facing area. This part is optional. You can decide not to use hemming gum, but I prefer to use hemming gum so that my work can be very neat. The next thing we also want to do is to cut out the strap for the sleeve. So I already went ahead to cut out my strap. You remember I took out 6 inches while drafting the pattern. So 6 plus 6 is 12. So what I have here is 14.5 inches. I just decided to add extra 1.5 inches allowance. So the width of my sleeve is 4 inches. So by the time I fold it like this, I'm just going to take half an inch and stitch it. And I'll do the same thing for the second strap too. Flip it over, take half an inch and stitch it. So after stitching the sleeve area, I turned it to the right side and I went to iron it. So make sure the middle stitch is in the middle. So this is going to be the right side. So for the front pattern like this, I'm going to stitch the sleeve on it and do the same thing on this side too. You can see. So I'm just going to also place my front facing this way. So I'll just take half an inch. So I'll just take half an inch and stitch it with my hemming gum. So by the time you flip it over, it's going to look like this. So this is what it looks like after I've stitched it with the hemming gum. So all I need to do is to give it a nice press. By the time I iron it, it's going to glue on this and to be very, very neat. So for the back pattern, I'm just going to arrange it like this. right side facing right side. I'm just going to place my facing this way and stitch it with the hemming like I did from the front facing, and I'll do the same thing for the other side too. After stitching it this way, this is what it should look like. So we're just going to iron the facing. Then after that, we're just going to place each pattern, like the back facing the back pattern and the front pattern facing the front pattern, and you just take 1 inch. Remember, it was 1 inch I left, so I'll just take 1 inch and stitch it by this side, and I'll do the same thing for the second side too. This is what it looks like after I've already stitched the side. So the next thing I'm going to do is to fix the zip. So all I need to do is to fold it like this. So I'm just going to measure what I have. Remember, I took out 6 inches from the beginning. So what I have here is 25 inches. So I'm just going to come up by 20.5 inches like this. So I'm going to mark 1.5 inches because that's what I get for my allowance. So from this point, I will just sew it. So the remaining opening here, I'm just going to fix in my zip. Fix the zip. So the top is given already. So the next thing I'm going to do is to measure out what I have here. I'm going to measure all these places round. After measuring what I have there, I have 46 inches. So I'm just going to cut the ruffles for this part. So what I'm going to do is to cut out my ruffles. So I'll make sure that my width is about 7 to 8 inches. 8 inches. So if I have 47 here, I'm just going to multiply it times 2 or times 2.5. So whatever I get, that will be the length of the ruffles. So make sure that the length is 7 to 8 inches. Then the length should be your whatever the measurement, your round measurement times 2.5 or times 2 inches. So I went ahead to cut a long strap for my ruffles, and this is what it looks like. You can see it's very long. I also went ahead to hem the base of the ruffles. It's easier this way than you fixing the ruffles and now hemming it. So it's better for you to hem it first. So you can see I've already hemmed it. So what we're going to do is just to gather it. So you're just going to run a loose stitch this way. Then after that, you start doing the gathers so it can fit into the base of our top. So this is what it looks like after I've already went ahead to run the gathers on it, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take the both sides like this and just stitch it. I'll just take half an inch and stitch. So after stitching it, they should have something like this. I'm just going to take the top this way. You take half an inch and stitch it. We're just going to stitch the ruffles around the open edge of the top. So guys, after fixing the ruffles on the top, this is what it looks like. As you can see, this is what it looks like. So if you've come to the end of this tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this video with your loved ones, and turn on your post notification bell so you can know anytime I upload a new tutorial just for you. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in my next upload. Bye guys.
Sexy ladies, come wine feel me slowly. Love, yeah, see the way we live. I do the word I'm saying.